There's a secret battle happening in your house right now. Your heating and AC system, it's in a constant, brutal fight with the outside world. I mean, day in and day out, it's taking on heat, cold, and humidity just to keep you comfortable. So today, we're going to break down that fight, and we'll use a city with some of the toughest conditions, like Philadelphia, as our battlefield.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start by looking at the climate itself, the battlefield, really. Then we'll get into the most common ways these systems fail. After that, a really important rule for your wallet, what you should expect from the pros, and finally, what you can do to win this fight.
Okay, first things first. To really get what's happening, you have to know the enemy. And in this case, it's a demanding four-season climate that pushes every single part of your system right to its breaking point. So if you live somewhere like Philadelphia, your system is literally fighting a war on two fronts. You've got the summer, right? Humidity is constantly over 70%. That forces your AC to work overtime, not just to cool, but just to wring all that moisture out of the air. Then, bam, winter hits, and it's this long siege of freezing temperatures that pushes your furnace to its absolute limit.
And what's crazy is, it's not just the weather. The very way a city like this is built adds to the challenge. Think about it. All those dense row homes, they create these really unique airflow problems. Plus, a lot of these houses were built way before central air was even a concept, so you're forcing these modern systems to work in spaces they weren't designed for.
So with all this constant pressure, how can you tell if your system is starting to lose the fight? Well, let's look at the most common signs that your HVAC is, waving a white flag.
Okay, this is a huge one. If you ever see ice building up on your unit, either inside or outside, that is a major red flag. It's basically a cry for help. It's often caused by low refrigerant, maybe you've got a leak, but more often than not, it's just a dirty filter that's completely choking off the airflow. That makes the coils get so cold, they just freeze over.
You know that feeling when your thermostat says it's cool, but you just feel sticky and damp, uncomfortable? Yeah, that's the clammy house. It's a classic sign that the summer humidity is just totally overwhelming your AC, and the poor thing just can't pull moisture out of the air fast enough anymore.
All right, now this is a silent danger, and it is absolutely no joke. All that stress we talked about, the heating and cooling cycles over and over, it can actually crack a furnace's heat exchanger. And if that happens, it can leak deadly, odorless carbon monoxide right into your home. This is why detectors are so critical.
Okay, so all of this leads to the big, expensive question that every homeowner eventually faces. Do you shell out for another repair, or is it finally time to just replace the whole system? Well, luckily, there's a really powerful, simple rule of thumb that can help you make that call.
It's called the $5,000 rule, and honestly, it's just a quick little bit of math that can save you from throwing good money after bad. Sinking hundreds of dollars into a system that's already on its last legs and is probably just going to break down again next season.
And using it is super, super simple. Step 1, figure out how old your system is. Step 2, get an estimate for the repair cost. Then, you just multiply those two numbers together. If the answer you get is over $5,000, that is a really strong signal that you should seriously start thinking about replacement instead. Okay, let's run a quick example so you can see how it works. Let's say you've got a furnace that's 15 years old, and a pro tells you it needs a $400 repair. So you take the age, 15, and multiply it by the cost, $400. What do you get? $6,000. Since that's way over the $5,000 line, the rules suggest that putting that money toward a new system is probably the smarter long-term play.
All right, so maybe you've decided it's time to call in the pros. This is so important. You need to know what to expect. Knowing what a real professional service looks like empowers you and makes sure you get what you're actually paying for.
Let's get right to it. Here is the absolute bottom line. A reputable pro will always give you a clear, full price estimate before they start the work. There should be absolutely no surprise charges on your final bill, period.
And listen, this isn't some special bonus or favor they're doing for you. This is called transparent pricing, and it should be the absolute standard. You should always expect it.
And it goes beyond just the price. A real pro doesn't guess. They do systematic testing to find the real problem. They should be able to explain it to you in plain English. They should guarantee their work. And, of course, they need to have all the right permits and EPA certifications. That's the playbook.
Okay, last but definitely not least, let's talk about what you can do. Because honestly, there are a few simple but really powerful actions you can take that can save you a ton of headaches and keep your system in fighting shape. Here's your first tool, and it's so easy to remember. It's just the number 3. It's the 3-minute rule for your AC. If the power goes out or you turn it off, always wait at least 3 minutes before turning it back on. That little pause gives the pressure inside the system time to equalize, and it protects the compressor, the heart of the system, from getting seriously damaged.
And the second part of your toolkit, just basic maintenance. It really is your best defense. I mean, look at this list. Simple stuff, right? Changing your filter regularly, that helps prevent those frozen coils we talked about earlier. Making sure your condensate drain is clear, that can stop a really expensive water leak before it ever starts. These tiny actions are what prevent the huge emergency repair bills.
So look, with the next heat wave or cold snap always just around the corner, it really all boils down to one simple question you should ask yourself. Now that you know all this, is your home's HVAC really ready for the fight?